Bonjour tout le monde. Merci d'être là avec nous aujourd'hui, surtout avec la belle performance de notre chef hier dans l'entrevue à la Radio-Canada, une performance claire, concise, confiant et énergique. On est fiers ce matin. Je vais commencer avec la reconnaissance territoriale. Donc, je reconnais que nous sommes sur un territoire millénaire autochtone et nous remercions la nation Kanien'kehá:ka pour leur hospitalité sur ce territoire non cédé. Aujourd'hui, je vais me présenter. Craig Sauvé, je suis le candidat ici pour le NPD à la salle Aymar-Verdun. Je suis joint par Nima Machouf, candidate pour la salle, Laurier-Sainte-Marie. Je dis ça tellement. Nima Machouf de Laurier-Sainte-Marie. Bien sûr, le député sortant et candidat Rosemont, la petite patrie, Alexandre Bouleris, et bien sûr notre chef, Jagmeet Singh. Aujourd'hui, on va vous parler d'un dossier qui devrait être préoccupant pour plein de Canadiens et Canadiennes. C'est les milliards de dollars qui fuient notre pays à chaque année dû aux paradis fiscaux. De l'argent qui devrait aller dans nos écoles, dans nos hôpitaux et pour les services publics. Alors que les gens ordinaires travaillent fort, respectent les règles et payent leur juste part, les ultra-riches et les grandes entreprises font tout pour éviter de payer le leur. I am so proud today to be here with you and to be a candidate for the NDP, whose leader, Jagmeet Singh, is not afraid to stand up to big power and to demand a change for people, for our services, and for our country. And with that, I'll hand the speaking over to Jagmeet Singh, our leader.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Et merci, Craig. On est tellement honoré d'avoir un candidat comme vous dans notre équipe et ici dans le comté de la salle Aymar-Verdun. Merci à Nima, merci à Alexandre. Comme Craig vient de dire, dans ces temps difficiles où tout le monde sont préoccupés avec la menace de Donald Trump, les gens ont peur de ce que ça veut dire pour leur vie, pour le coût de la vie, pour leurs emplois. On a toutes ces menaces, toute cette incertitude. Et en même temps, on a des grandes entreprises au Canada qui, par exprès, évitent de payer leurs propres impôts. On a des entreprises qui utilisent les paradis fiscaux, par exprès. Et qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Quand des grandes entreprises ne paient pas leurs impôts, ça veut dire moins des investissements dans les services dont vous avez besoin. Ça veut dire moins des investissements dans l'infrastructure dont vous avez besoin. Moins de financement pour les écoles, comme l'école derrière moi. Moins des investissements dans notre système de santé qui, à ce moment, est en crise. Donc, c'est quoi le positionnement des autres partis? On sait que c'est un grand problème, comme Craig a dit. On perd des dizaines de milliards de dollars chaque année à cause des paradis fiscaux, à cause des grandes entreprises qui évitent de payer leur juste part. Mais c'est quoi la position des autres chefs des partis? Mark Carney, et son bilan montre qu'il n'est pas quelqu'un qui croit qu'on doit mettre fin aux paradis fiscaux parce que quand il était le président d'une grande entreprise, Brookfield Investment, depuis le temps qu'il était là, ils ont évité de payer 5,3 milliards de dollars des impôts. 5,3 milliards de dollars. Ça, c'est une somme, un montant énorme. Ça veut dire que cet montant pourrait embaucher 50 000 infirmières. 50 000 infirmières. Des investissements dans notre système de santé, investissements dans l'infrastructure, tout ça perdu parce que ces entreprises, comme Brookfield Investment, évitent de payer leurs propres impôts. Et en plus, depuis le temps que Mark Carney était le président de cette entreprise, ils ont enregistré 4 sur 5 de leurs entreprises dans un bureau au-dessus d'un magasin qui vend des vélos aux Bermudes, à Hamilton, aux Bermudes, aux îles Bermudes. Donc ça montre encore que ce n'est pas priorité pour lui de mettre fin au échappatoire et là, diriger une entreprise qui a évité de payer leurs propres impôts. Et c'est quoi la réponse? OK, c'est quoi la position de Pierre Poilievre? Pierre Poilievre était dans le cabinet avec Premier ministre Harper Ils n'ont pas à mettre fin aux échappatoires, ils n'ont pas à mettre fin aux paradis fiscaux parce que c'est leurs amis. Ils veulent donner des gros cadeaux aux grandes entreprises, aux milliardaires. Donc, ce n'est pas leur priorité aussi. Nous sommes le seul parti qui est prêt de faire face à ce grand problème. On est prêt de mettre fin aux paradis fiscaux. Comment on va le faire? Je veux annoncer nos pas aujourd'hui, nos mesures aujourd'hui. Premièrement, on va arrêter, on va annuler les ententes avec les pays qui permettent des paradis fiscaux, comme les Bermudes. Ça, c'est un exemple. On va avoir une analyse. Si une entreprise enregistre dans un autre pays, on va vérifier, est-ce qu'il y a un but économique? Est-ce qu'il y a une raison vraie pour cet enregistrement? Sinon, ils doivent payer leurs propres impôts. On va aussi analyser nos lois pour mettre fin aux échappatoires, changer les lois pour finalement arrêter les paradis fiscaux. On peut faire ça et c'est quelque chose qu'on va faire parce que pour nous, on est là pour vous. On est là pour monsieur, madame, tout le monde. On n'est pas là pour défendre les profits des milliardaires, on est là pour défendre les intérêts de monsieur, madame, tout le monde. Et c'est exactement ce qu'on va faire. So, in this time, when people are feeling really worried about what's going to happen next, they're worried about the fact that Donald Trump has threatened our country, they're worried about the trade war, they're worried about what that means for themselves. They're worried that, will I lose my job? Will the cost of living get even more expensive when it's so high already? In all of this worry and uncertainty, we've got large corporations in Canada that purposely continue to avoid paying their fair share by using tax havens and other loopholes. It is wrong. We're losing billions of dollars a year. In the tens of billions of dollars a year we're losing simply because these companies purposely choose to not pay their fair share in Canada. If you can make a profit in Canada, you should pay your taxes in Canada. Fundamentally, that's what we believe in. So what are the position of the other parties and the other leaders? Well, Mark Carney, his position, sadly, as the chair of a large corporation, Brookfield Investments, that while he was there, they avoided paying over $5.3 billion in taxes. $5.3 billion. What does that mean? Well, that's 50,000 nurses that could have been hired. That's streetcars, that's buses, that's public infrastructure. Not only for the federal government, but also for the provincial government. This is lost revenue. Revenue that could have gone towards fixing schools like the one behind me. This is lost revenue for the things that you need. This means less money for services that you count on, less money for the infrastructure that you and your family needs. And that's why it's wrong. You know, on top of that, Mark Carney, while he was the chair of this company, 4 out of 5 of their businesses were located above a bicycle shop in a small office in Bermuda. It almost sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but that's what they did. And clearly the only reason why that was done was to avoid paying taxes. And so you can't trust Mark Carney to put an end to tax havens when he engaged in so much tax avoidance as the chair of that company. And Pierre Poilievre, he's not going to put an end to tax havens. When he was in cabinet under Harper, they did not address this problem. He is not going to do anything about it, not because he wants to give even bigger giveaways to large corporations. That's what he wants to do. He's not going to put a stop to this. So if you care about putting an end to tax havens and ensuring that we can invest in the things that you and your family need, New Democrats are the only option for that. And I'm going to lay out our plan. First and foremost, we'll put an end to agreements with other countries that permit tax havens. Secondly, we'll put a requirement in place. The countries or the companies have to show an economic purpose when they register in a foreign country. And if there isn't an actual economic purpose, then they still have to pay their taxes. We'll do an analysis of the existing laws to find any loopholes and put an end to them to stop tax havens from being allowed and to end the loopholes that allow companies to avoid paying their taxes. We believe that if you make a profit in Canada, you should be able to contribute back to this country. You should be able to contribute to the services that allows your company to make money in the first place. So New Democrats are in it for you. We're not trying to protect the profits of billionaires. We are fighting for you and your family to have the services and the infrastructure that you need. Merci, thank you. With that, I'm ready for any questions you might have.
Merci beaucoup. On va passer à la période de questions des journalistes. On va commencer par la période de questions en français. Une question et une relance. We'll now take the question from the press. We'll begin in French and then in English. It's going to be one question and one follow-up. On va commencer avec Valérie Gamache, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, Monsieur Singh. Je me souviens que l'automne dernier, on était dans ce même parc lors de l'élection partielle. Vous veniez de déchirer l'entente avec les libéraux et là, les électeurs cherchaient vraiment une alternative à Justin Trudeau. Pourtant, cette circonscription vous a échappé. Est-ce qu'aujourd'hui, le défi est encore plus difficile dans la Salle-et-Mort-Verdun?
Dans les dernières élections, on était tellement proches et Craig Sauvé va se présenter encore. On est tellement fiers de ça. Je pense que les gens en la salle et Marie-Verdun méritent d'avoir quelqu'un qui va se battre pour eux. Donc, dans cette élection, je pense qu'on a commencé d'entendre les gens qui disent on a entendu le plan de Pierre Poilievre et les conservateurs et on n'accepte pas ça. Je pense que c'est mauvais pour notre pays, c'est mauvais pour ma famille. Donc, les gens commencent à rejeter Pierre Poilievre et les conservateurs. Et maintenant, ce qui est soulevé de plus en plus, les gens disent, mais on a entendu, Mark Carney parle souvent des coupures des services de santé, coupures. Donc, pour les gens qui ont peur de coupures des libéraux de Mark Carney, votez pour les candidats et candidates néo-démocrates. On est là pour défendre des services publics. Votez ici à la salle Verdun pour Craig Sauvé, pour défendre notre système de santé publique et universel, pour défendre les programmes sociaux, pour défendre les intérêts de vous et votre famille.
Hey.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So in the last by-election, we were very close. And with our candidate, Craig Sauvé, who's going to present himself again, when we're really honored about that. And what I'm hearing more and more from people are telling me that they've heard the plan of Pierre Poilievre and they're starting to reject that. They're saying, you know what, that's not good for the country. His plans are going to cut the services I need. That's not good for my family. So we're seeing more and more Canadians rejecting that approach. But now I'm hearing from Canadians who start to say, well, Mark Carney's actually talking a lot about cuts as well. He's talking about cutting healthcare. I'm worried about that. If you're worried about those cuts, if you're worried about something that's not going to put an end to offshore tax havens, then you can vote for New Democrats. You can vote here in La Salle et Verdun for Craig Sauvé. You can vote for someone that's going to fight for you and your family. We can vote for Nima Machouf, Alexandre Boulouris. These are the folks who are going to fight to defend the things that you care about, like your health care, like your services, the things that matter to you and your family.
Et puis hier, lors de l'émission 5 chefs, une élection, vous avez répété que la loi 21 est une loi discriminatoire. C'est une loi quand même qui a été votée à l'Assemblée nationale, donc qui représente la volonté des élus du Québec. Est-ce que votre position sur la loi 21 est un frein pour séduire les Québécois?
Je pense qu'il y a, je pense pas, je sais qu'il y a plusieurs Québécois et Québécoises qui sont contre cette loi aussi. Et ça, c'est pourquoi on a des cours de justice, parce que de temps en temps, ça arrive qu'on passe des lois discriminatoires, donc on doit les contester parce qu'ils sont discriminatoires. Profondément, je suis pour la séparation entre la religion et l'État. Ça, c'est fondamental dans une démocratie. Je suis pour cette idée, mais ce n'est pas une question de ce qui est sur la tête, c'est une question de ce qui est dans la tête. Je veux protéger une société où personne ne peut imposer la religion sur quelqu'un d'autre. Et on le fait avec des lois, les règles qui protègent les gens, pas avec les lois ou des règles qui discriminent les gens à cause de leur apparence.
Merci.
Sure. Yeah. I believe profoundly in the separation of religion and state. I think it's fundamental in a democracy. New Democrats support that separation fundamentally. No one should be imposing religion on someone else or religious views on someone else. Not at all. But that's not a question about what's on your head. It's about a question what's in your heart, what's in your head. And so let's protect from the imposition of religion on people. Let's protect people and have a society that's free from, there is separation of religion and state. Let's do it in a way that's not discriminatory. Let's do it in a way that strengthens that important principle.
Merci. Maintenant, Stéphane Rolland, la presse canadienne.
Bonjour. Le gouvernement du Québec appuie... Oui, le gouvernement du Québec appuie l'objectif d'augmenter les dépenses militaires à 2 du PIB parce que ce serait favorable à l'industrie ici au Québec. Quelle est la position du NPD par rapport à cette cible-là?
Donc, on est dans un temps où le monde est moins sécuritaire que jamais. On est dans les temps difficiles, on est dans les temps dangereux. Et depuis longtemps, on a noté le fait que nos forces canadiennes n'ont pas les outils, l'équipement nécessaire pour faire le travail qu'on demande qu'ils fassent. Et ça, c'est un problème. Donc, pas à cause de Donald Trump, pas à cause des autres raisons, mais oui, on doit, pour notre souveraineté, pour notre indépendance, on doit investir davantage pour protéger, pour aider nos forces canadiennes à faire le travail qu'ils font. Donc, on a parlé du fait que oui, on a besoin d'équipements modernes. On a besoin d'augmenter les salaires de ces travailleurs parce que comme un parti fondé par les travailleurs, on pense toujours des travailleurs, on a besoin d'une augmentation de leur salaire. Ils ont aussi besoin de logement et ils n'ont pas de logement adéquat sur les bases militaires. J'ai parlé avec les gens qui travaillent dans nos forces canadiennes et c'est un grand problème. C'est un grand problème le fait qu'ils n'ont pas de logement abordable. Donc, ce sont les investissements que l'NPD veut faire. Donc oui, on va atteindre la cible de 2%. On a déjà annoncé ça et on le fait en investissant dans nos forces canadiennes, dans les gens, dans l'équipement, dans le salaire et dans leur logement.
En question de suivi, en 2022, vous aviez dit que la cible de 2% était arbitraire. Qu'est-ce qui a fait évoluer votre position depuis ce temps-là?
Le monde a changé. Le monde a changé et j'ai eu plus de conversations avec les forces canadiennes et les besoins dans les forces canadiennes, les besoins des travailleurs. Et je suis convaincu que oui, on doit investir davantage pour les aider. Well, we're in a more dangerous time. Things have changed because things are more dangerous. And having had more conversations with members that serve in our armed forces, it became clear to me that we need to make more investments. And so that's why I believe in those investments.
Thank you very much. Now, Mara Forrest, Canadian Press.
Yes, thank you. What is it going to take to boost your seat count in Quebec?
Well, it's an opportunity to share with folks what's going on, to share the choice in this election. And the choice in this election is really important. We need folks to know in this campaign that New Democrats fought for you. We fought and delivered for the things that actually matter to the people across this country. But here in Quebec, particularly, 500,000 Quebecers have received dental care because of us. With just one MP, Alison Boudouris, we're able to deliver 500,000 people were able to get dental care. 1 million people are subscribed in the program. We were able to change people's lives in a concrete way. Imagine what we could do if you sent more of us. Imagine what we could do if we sent Nima Mashouf and Craig Sauvé to Ottawa. How much more we could fight for. How much more we could deliver for people. So we want to make that case. And really, when people are worried about who's going to fight for me and all of this uncertainty and chaos being created by Donald Trump, who's going to put me and my family first? That's New Democrats. We're always going to fight for you and your family. We're always going to make you the priority, not the billionaires. So if you want someone on your side, vote for a New Democrat.
But what more would you deliver for Quebec with more MPs from the province in the House of Commons?
Well, the things that I hear from people in Quebec, the things that are major concerns are the fact that housing is too expensive. You can't find a home that you can afford. And the cost of groceries, the cost of living is so high. So we've laid out a plan to make life more affordable. We would remove the GST off of essentials, off your essential bills like internet, home heating, cellular services. That would immediately give people relief. We would put in place a price cap on food essentials to bring down the food inflation, make life more affordable, make groceries more affordable. We would use all of our federal land to build 100% affordable homes. These are ways to make life more affordable, to bring down the price of groceries and bring down the cost of homes. We're in it for you, and we're going to show that in every day of this campaign.
Thank you very much. Now, Janice McGregor, CBC.
Good morning. If Canada moved unilaterally in the way that you're proposing to crack down on tax havens, wouldn't we just see more companies, more economic activity move to other jurisdictions like the U.S. that had more favorable rules? I mean, the job stats last month were already pretty grim in this country.
Well, these are companies that are making massive profits. We're talking about billions of dollars. Brookfield Investments literally makes money off of Canadian investors. And they make investments. These are Canadians. They make their money in Canada. They make billions and billions of dollars, and they avoid paying their taxes by simply registering in other countries, even though all their profits are being made in Canada. That's wrong. If you can make a profit here, you got to pay your taxes here. There is no other way around that. It is unjustifiable for a company as massive as Brookfield Investments to make that much money and to not want to contribute back into the society that allows them to make that money in the first place. Companies aren't making money in a vacuum. They're making money in a country because we've invested in the education that trains workers. We've invested in the roads and bridges that connect people. We've made investments, and companies that make money here should invest here, without a doubt.
But you speak about the Canadian investors. Brookfield is managing their assets. When Mark Carney was asked about the registration of some of the funds, he pointed to double taxation and the risk that the growth in these investments would be, in fact, taxed twice under what you're talking about here. So wouldn't that result in actually less pension income for people who invest with the case, for example, or the teachers' pension plan in Ontario? Wouldn't those retirees have less pension income if those investments were taxed twice, which is what you're talking about?
This is Mark Carney banker speak. This is Mark Carney banker speak. Companies that make money in Canada should be taxed in Canada. It's very straightforward. There's no other way around that. It's a very simple argument. Don't let Mark Carney spin you here. If you're going to make money in Canada, you should pay taxes in Canada. And if your only reason for setting up an office in a small office in Bermuda above a bike shop is simply to avoid paying taxes, no, that shouldn't be allowed. That's not a smart strategy. That's cheating our system of the investments that we need. Now, it might be legal, but it's wrong. And how can we trust Mark Carney to crack down on other companies that engage in purposeful avoidance of taxes if he was the chair of the board of a powerful corporation that engaged in such massive tax avoidance that literally starves our country of investments? It means less investments in healthcare. It means less nurses, doctors, and frontline healthcare workers. It means less public infrastructure. It means less of the things that we need. So no, regular folks in this tax season can't just say, you know what, I'm going to change my address to Bermuda so I don't pay taxes. Why should we let big corporations do that? It's wrong, and we're going to crack down on it. Oui, c'est injuste que les grandes entreprises peuvent dire « Oh, je vais changer l'adresse, je vais m'enregistrer dans un autre pays pour éviter de payer des taxes. » Monsieur, madame, tout le monde ne peut pas faire ça. Monsieur, madame, tout le monde paye leurs impôts ici, dans notre pays. Donc, si vous faites des profits dans notre pays, vous devez payer les taxes dans notre pays. C'est simple. Et n'écoutez pas un banqueur comme Mark Carney qui essaie de vous spinner et dire « Oh non, c'est le double taxe ». Non. Vous faites des profits massifs au Canada, vous devez aussi contribuer au Canada. On parle des milliards de dollars. Milliards de dollars. Ce n'est pas une petite entreprise, c'est une grande entreprise qui font des milliards de dollars de profit et ils ne payent pas les impôts. C'est injuste.
Merci. Now, Rachel Aiello, CTV.
Good morning. Later today, you're taking your campaign to Atlantic Canada, but right now your party doesn't hold any seats east of this province. Just wondering if you can speak to what is the intention in going east at this point in the campaign? Should you not be focusing in on trying to hold the ridings you already have, rather than going to a place where it may not be a spot for you to pick up much?
Well, we're going to Halifax and St. John's. And we've had incredible members of parliament in both of those communities. And people in those communities remember the difference that it made to have a New Democrat fighting for them. They remember what it feels like to have someone that was in it for them, and the difference when they lost that and they don't have someone that's actually fighting for their interests, and instead someone that's protecting the profits of billionaires. And they miss that. And so we want to give the people of Atlantic Canada a chance to re-elect a New Democrat that's going to fight for you. In St. John's, we have Mary Shortall, president of our party, who was a powerful voice for workers. She was the former president of the Federation of Labor. And we want folks to know that Mary Shortall will be a voice for you and your family, a voice for the working people, for the middle class. You need someone like that. And so we're gonna share that with the people of Atlantic when we go to the Atlantic tour of this campaign. Oui. Donc on va faire un passage dans les provinces atlantiques, Nouvelle-Terre et Labrador et en Nouvelle-Écosse, et on va rappeler les gens du fait qu'ils ont eu une députée néo-démocrate dans le passé, et les gens dans l'Atlantique se souviennent de différences que ça a fait dans leur vie, le fait qu'ils ont eu une députée qui se bat pour eux, pas pour les milliardaires, Et je veux encore donner une occasion aux gens dans l'Atlantique de voter encore pour réélire des députés néo-démocrates. J'ai parlé de Mary Shortall, c'est la présidente de notre parti. C'était ancienne présidente de la Fédération des travailleurs dans la province de Terre-Neuve et Labrador. Vous avez un choix d'élire des néo-démocrates comme ça, des gens qui vont se battre pour vous et votre famille. Dans cette élection, c'est une option, c'est une occasion importante d'avoir des gens dans cette incertitude, dans ce chaos créé par Donald Trump. Vous avez besoin de quelqu'un qui va se battre pour défendre vos intérêts, pas les intérêts des milliardaires. Et ça, c'est l'NPD.
And polling aggregator 338 right now in your riding has the Liberals ahead of you. The Conservatives are also ahead of you. Right now, you are third in that aggregator's look. So how concerned are you that you are going across the country right now making promises about what you will do in the next parliament when it looks like you might not even have a seat?
I mean, these aggregators were massively wrong in the Ontario election just recently. They literally predicted the party would lose status and they formed official opposition. So I'm not worried about what aggregators say. I'm worried about what's going on in our country. I'm worried about the fact that people are feeling really uncertain and that people have a lot of worries and they need someone that's going to be in there for them. And I know more and more people are telling me, while I'm rejecting the Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre and his cuts, I'm worried about Mark Carney and the fact that he's talking about a lot of cuts. If you're worried about Mark Carney's cuts, vote for New Democrat. Here in Montreal, vote for your New Democrat candidates. Vote for people that are going to fight for you and stand up for you.
Thank you. Last question, David Turton, CBC.
Hi, Mr. Singh. Good morning, bonjour. I just want to speak about something we've noticed in terms of how you're framing the way that you're running in this election. You started this campaign saying that you're running for Prime Minister during the first week. And then, as we go into the second week, we've seen you've amended your language, adjusted the way that you're framing how you're running in this election. You're saying that you'd be honored to be Prime Minister, and you've spoken a lot about all the things that you've achieved in a minority government. So I'm just wondering, are you still running for Prime Minister? And why are you changing your language when it comes to that?
Well, like I said, I frame this answer in the context of the minority government because I've seen the difference that we make in people's lives. Concretely, we made a difference. Just 25 of us, and we expanded healthcare in a really significant way. Like, think about 500,000 people in Quebec getting dental care. I think about those people all the time, the people that we were able to help, the seniors that I've met who literally have more dignity in their life now because they can get their dentures, they can get their teeth fixed. They don't have to live in pain anymore. Kids who are happier and healthier because they could go to the dentist for the first time. I think about them all the time, and I think about the difference we made. And that's why I say it would be the honor of my life to serve as Prime Minister. It would be an incredible honor. I know that every day I would fight for you and your family, that my team would fight for you and your family. So it would be an incredible honor. People are going to make the choice of who they want to elect in this election. And I want folks to know in that choice, I am seeing more and more people rejecting Pierre Poilievre. They're saying, that's not good for the country. His approach to cut the things that I need, that's not good for me. It's not good for my family. I'm hearing that from more and more Canadians. But I'm also starting to hear from people that are worried that Mark Carney is also talking about cuts. He's talking about cutting the things that people need. And I think that's wrong. I think cutting at this time would be the wrong thing to do. And people are telling me that they're worried about those cuts. And so for those folks, I'm saying, we'll vote for a New Democrat then. Because we're going to fight to protect the things that matter to you. We're going to fight to protect healthcare. We're going to strengthen it. We're going to fight to protect our pensions. We're going to fight to protect you and your family and all of this uncertainty. We're the ones that are in it for you.
Okay, and just a totally different question. We're at the point in the campaign where parties are starting to unveil more of their platform. Oftentimes, parties speak about their plans for the national public broadcaster, CBC Radio Canada. What is the NDP's plan for CBC Radio Canada?
I appreciate the question, particularly if I add the context of the recent public inquiry into foreign interference and Hoag's report on that. Justice Hoag actually goes into detail around misinformation as one of the most serious threats to our democracy. And in light of that, it's more important than ever to have a public broadcaster, one where there's quality journalism, information you can trust, fact-checking that goes on. So I think it's very important for us to invest significantly in a public broadcaster as a way to fight back against misinformation and disinformation. Also, in the context of attacks on our sovereignty from Donald Trump, attacks on our very country. culture, our culture and our identity are fundamental. And CBC as a public broadcaster has been a fundamental part of celebrating Canadian culture, celebrating Quebec culture, being a place for us to showcase our talent, to showcase our culture. So it's something that I think is very important with these two contexts, more important than ever. Oh oui, oui, ça méritait d'avoir une réponse en français. Donc, je pense j'encourage ou j'invite, j'aime le fait que je peux répondre à cette question. La question d'investissement dans Radio-Canada. Il y a deux contextes. Un, c'est la menace de Donald Trump. Avec la menace de Donald Trump, les attaques contre, spécifiquement les attaques contre la langue française que Donald Trump a directement menacé, avec les attaques contre notre souveraineté, notre pays. C'est plus que jamais important qu'on investit dans notre culture et on défend la langue française et la culture québécoise. Et c'est plus que jamais important qu'on investit davantage dans des diffuseurs publics, des radiodiffuseurs publics. C'est fondamental pour défendre notre culture. En plus, avec la commission, le rapport de Justice Hogue, elle a parlé du fait que la désinformation, c'est une menace sur notre démocratie. C'est une menace forte. Et pour défendre contre cette menace, c'est plus que jamais important d'avoir des journalismes crédibles et d'avoir un radiodiffuseur public. C'est encore important d'avoir des investissements. Donc, je suis pour les investissements dans un radiodiffuseur public comme Radio-Canada et on va le défendre.
Merci beaucoup. C'est ce qui conclut la conférence de presse de ce matin. That concludes the press conference of this morning. Thank you very much.
Merci. Thanks so much. Merci beaucoup.